begin the current Daf, Masech, Nazir Daf, Mem Hey, begin 13 lines down at the top of the Yomid, we continue the theme of the previous Mishnah. Previous Mishnah, we were discussing this topic of Shleisha Minin, 3 different types of things that are prohibited. We spoke about Tiglachas, Tumah, and Yitzim Nagefet. Previous Mishnah spoke about Tiglachas of Tumah, which is the prohibition, not Tiglachas of Tumah, meaning when you become Tameh, which are one of the 3 prohibitions, afterwards you have to do the hair cutting. And now the next Mishnah continues with a related theme, that of Tiglachas of Tahara, which is when you make yourself tar, you're finished, there is also an obligation then of Tiglachas. So here the Mishnah continues on that theme. So the Mishnah begins, Tiglachas Tahara Ketzar. So how do we have this, what's the hair cutting ceremony of a regular Nazir, meaning a tar, meaning he finished his Nazir, 30 days, whatever it was, and he does a hair cutting. So how do you do this? So very technical, says the Mishnah. You maybe gimel behemoths. You would bring 3 animals. Chatas, aylu shlam, sin offering, total burnt sacrifice, and a peace offering. And he would slaughter korban shlam, and he would go ahead and do the hair cutting ceremony after the shlam. Now, the question is over here is that in the parsha the order is chatas oil and shlam. So Tais asks, it would seem that Yehuda would hold that shlam is first, and you're doing the giluach. What's the pshat? What do you mean shlamim? And but isn't that the last one mentioned in the pasuk? So says Tais, it seems that the reason is because Darshan the Gemara, the gilach pesach el moed. It says the hair cutting should be pesach el moed. Which korban does it say oil moed by it is shlamim? So since the pasuk is saying by the term oil moed, that's where you should do the hair cutting. It's not actually where it should be done. It's the type of korban that says pesach el moed that was on shlam said. Therefore, that's the one that we're going to say is the one that we have to have first. Which Taisa says, then why does the pasuk say in that order of chatas oil and shlamim if it's even after shlam? But be that as it may, that's the Rabbi Yehuda. Yehuda holds that once you shech the shlamim, you can do the hair cutting ceremony. Rabbi Lazar says, no, the one that you could do the hair cutting is only after the chatas. Because whenever you have an oil and the shlam, as the Gemara tells in Zebachim Navtzadi, the chatas comes first, and that's the one that you could do the hair cutting ceremony on. Now, it continues the Mishnah, if you went and did the hair cutting ceremony after any one of the 3, you fulfilled the obligation. He says, let's say Hevi Gimel Behemoths V'lo Pirish. Let's say you brought 3 animals and you didn't specify which is which. So he says, the one that's fit to be the sin offering, which is a kispa, which is a ewe, a female sheep. So tikar of chatas, that should be sacrificed as a chatas. La'oila, the one that you brought that's fit to be an oila, which is a keves, a lamb, tikar of oila should be sacrificed as a oila. The shlam, the one that's fit to be shlam, which is a ayil, which is a ram, tikar of shlam should be sacrificed as a shlam. Meaning, even if you didn't specify, that's the ones that should be brought, whichever is fit to be, whichever one that is. Now, regarding the first opinion mentioned in the Mishnah of Rabbi Yehuda, that he said that the hair cutting ceremony is on the shlamim, so the Gemara brings a brayso that elaborates on this halacha. When the brayso, it says a pasuk in the middle, the gilach hanazir pesach oil moed b'geimer. This is what we're talking about here. The nazir, he finished his naziris, and he cuts his hair by the opening, the entry of the oil moed b'geimer, etc. Says the brayso, v'shlam makas medaba. The pasuk is talking about by the shlam, and these tastes are all on the base, meaning like we heard in the Mishnah that he says that the hair cutting is on the shlamim. That's what you see here from this pasuk. Because Shenema, it says in the pasuk in Vayikra, and some of your sources have the words Kan Pesach Oil Moed, that it says over here Oil Moed, meaning by the Nazir, and the number of Shlam says by Shlam in the following pasuk, Ushchatay Pesach Oil Moed, and that you slaughter it by the opening of the Oil Moed. So you see that the pasuk is talking about the shlamim. The same terminology of Pesach al Moed says by the shlamim is the terminology it says by the Nazir. So it must be referring to the shlamim. That's where you do the hair. That's when you do it. It's not really weird. It's when you do the hair cutting ceremony. So the brayso in Pesach al Moed mamish. No, maybe it means literally that the Nazir goes and cuts his hair. But if you read the pasuk simply, that's how you translate it. The Nazir goes and by the opening entry of al Moed gets his haircut. It says the brayso Amr doing the same kind. If that's the case, that's disgraceful. What do you think? The Nazir is really going to go mamish in front of the base of Mikdash and do a haircut? So therefore, it can't be. It must mean that it's just comparing it to a shlam. I mean to say that it's after the shlamim that he cuts his hair. Rabbi Yisham, he says in tzarich. He says you don't have to say what you said right now, because the Torah says in Shemais, you're not supposed to go up on steps, going up to the mizbeach, because someone is going to do the avodah. It's not so disgraceful. Which Tais actually asks. He says, why is Rabbi Yishai saying ein tzarich what? You don't have to darshan from the svar rather from the kavachayno. What's he saying? It's like you usually say kral lamali svara, meaning the first time it said a svara, it's a derech mizayin, and he says no, you don't have to, because I have a pasuk l'sal b'malas al mizbechi, which is not such a derech mizayin, but still the ma'isa you're going to be megala erva, like when you're walking up a step versus a ramp, you're taking larger steps, like kavachayim derech mizayin. But Taisa says, if I have a svar, what's he saying? I have a kavachayim. He's saying kavachayim from there. I don't need a svar, I have a kavachayim. So actually, Taisa brings that in the Sefri, there's no gears to Rabbi Shloimy. It's all the words of Tanakh. As it's brought in the Sefri, maybe it means Pesach al-Mayit. So the Brisa says, no, if that's the case, it's Derech B'Zayim, or maybe means literally, that you take a haircut. In other words, that the Svara should not remove the pasuk from its literal translation. That says the Brisa, I'll prove to you, but it can't mean that, because if you not even take steps up to the Mizbech, for sure you can't be taking a haircut right in front of the Beis HaMikdash. So it's all one time, because or else it's hard to read. What does this mean? But Akaponim, it's a kavachem l'derech b'zayim. Now the Gemara seems to add on over here, not from the primary text, but it says nusach acha b'medrash parshas nosai, tafresh mem beis, that it says another version of this. V'gilach hanazir, it says the nazir cuts his hair. It's Rabbi Shloimy, he himself says b'shlam hakas medaber. It's by shlam the pasuk toma. Maybe it's means really pesach al-mayid. This is what the Torah says, that you shouldn't even take steps up to the Mizbeach. For sure, you shouldn't be taking a haircut by the Pesach al-Mayit. Again, it's just a reference, an allusion to the Karban Pesach, which also says Pesach al-Mayit, to say that you do the ceremony after the cutting of the hair, after the Karban Shlam. Now, Rabbi Shloimy says, in tzarich, as we had in the previous version, was Rabbi Yishai who says in tzarich. Here it's Rabbi Shloimy in tzarich. He says no. The pasuk says in Bamidbar, it says, meaning he's going on Rabbi Yeshua, who says in tzarich because he has his kavachaymer. He says, no, I'll bring you a different reason why. It says the pasuk in Bamidbar, B'lokech esad rosh nizir. It says that he's going to take the hair of the head of his naziris, and he's going to put it on the fire. He says, Rabbi Yitzchak, I'll prove to you. You don't have to come up because you're svaras of bezayin or you're a kavachaymer of bezayin. The pasuk is telling you, Misha in the mechusa elikichu in the sina. And what does it say? It says he should take the hair that he's cutting off and he puts on the fire. It means you only have to have lekicha to take him, the sina and the placing. Yotzeh, but it can't be if you took a haircut in the Beis HaMikdash, shumachus lekicha hava on the sina. The problem would be, and Taisid brings the order hava lekicha in the sina, but be that as it may, the Karban Shlam was eating the whole city of Yerushalayim. If a person taking a haircut, Pesach al-Mayid, now his pot of his shlam is in the city, so the problem is you have to bring the hair to burn under the pot, so you don't have just the kicha and the sina, you have to have taking it, bringing it, and placing it. So that's how you know that it's not going to be in front of the Pesach al-Mayid. Ikidam, those say another version. Basically, he says, now the pasuk is telling you about the shlam. It says the Brisa is really telling about the shlam. Maybe it means literally Pesach al-Mayid. And notice the pasuk says it says to take the hair of the head of his naziris. A place where he's cooking, which is in Yerushalayim, not by the Beis HaMikdash. That's where he's cutting the hair. Again, same idea that you're not gonna you still have to bring it, and therefore it can't mean Pesach al-Mayid. Rabbi says, the pasuk says, "V'gilach ha-nazir Pesach al-Mayid." The nazir will cut his hair by the Pesach, by the opening of the oil mayid. In other words, obviously, it could not be literally the Pesach al-Mayid, because if that would be the case, it would be a derech b'zayim. Rather, it means at the time when it's open. Pesach doesn't mean the opening. Again, the simple translation is, but we're saying it can't mean that because of the zayin, like he said, but he darshans it not Pesach but Pesuach, when it's open. Meaning, because in Pesach Elmoed Pesuach, if the Elmoed is not open, in Ligalech, we know that the karbanos could only be brought when it was open. They would open up every morning and start the karbanos. So it's just, it doesn't mean literally you do Pesach Elmoed. When it's Pesuach, that's when he could do his hair cutting. But it was done in Yerushalayim, it was done somewhere else, it wasn't done little Pesach. Shimon Shazuriam, he says, another drasha from the Pesukim. It says, Begilach ha-Nazir Pesach el-Moed. The Nazir would do the hair cutting by the Pesach el-Moed. V'loi Nazira, meaning Nazir in the masculine, but not Nazir in the feminine, as a Getintam and base. Why would that be? So it sounds like that the reasoning of the pasuk is Shema Yizgaru Ba Perchekuna, because the young Kahanim will get excited over this woman when she's getting her hair cut. So she cannot cut her hair Pesach el Moed. Rather, she must cut her hair somewhere in the outside of the in the environs outside, in a discreet place, so that the Perchekuna, the young Kahanim, shouldn't see her. So when we're saying Pesach el Moed, that's only the Nazir, but the Nazira should not be Pesach el Moed because of it's not appropriate for her to be getting her hair cut over there. Now, to which Amrulai is the gear. So they said to him, wait a second. To your word, the suspected adulterous woman will disprove what you're saying. But says by her that they're going to place her in front of Hashem, and the pasuk there continues as some Gisois have, and they would uncover the hair on her head. So that maybe the young Kahan will be to see her in that state of undress are going to get approach her in that way. So Amalahan, he said to them, no, Zud and Nazir is Kechelis of Bekesses. This woman has her makeup on, this woman is all dressed up. She's a Nazir. If anything, she's doing a Dvar Mitzvah, she's a holy woman, and therefore, that in that state, it might be Nizgaruba. Zu in the Kechelis of Bekesses, the Saita stands there in the state of disgrace. As the Gemara says in Navzayin, they would tie a certain rope around her, and they would give her all these types of despicable type of elements, and therefore, yeah, in that state when her hair is uncovered, it's in a disarray, and therefore that's not going to be. But here he says that by the Nazira, that would be inappropriate, and therefore it's only by the Nazir Pesach, but not in the Nazir. Here's the next Mishnah on this procedure of the Nazir, the purification process of the Nazir Torah. So he would take the hair of the head of his Nazirs that he cut off. This was what we said from the previous Mishnah, what the Gemara was explaining, why it couldn't be that he cut his hair here, because he had to bring the hair to where he was cooking the pot. The pot is cooking in Yerushalayim. So wherever the shlam was cooking, that's where he had to put the hair beneath that pot. Now, the Mekilach the Medina, if he cut his hair, meaning he has permission to cut his hair wherever he wants to. It says Pesach al Moed. So that, like we just said in the Gemara before, it doesn't mean literally Pesach al Moed. It's maybe at the time when it's open, or the carbon that's called Pesach al Moed, which is Shlomim. But you could cut your hair wherever you want to. Now, if you cut it out of Yerushalayim, then you actually would not put the hair beneath the pot that the shlam was cooking. Now, Taisa says it appears that therefore it's obvious to the Tana that the pasuk sounds like that he would cut his hair in Yerushalayim, because if he would cut his hair even out of Yerushalayim, so then we're saying he wouldn't send it, he wouldn't put it beneath the pot. It says in the pasuk, "V'gilach hanoza pesach al moed, v'lokach hasa reish nizrei and v'nosnan le'esha shetach hazavech hashlamim." So that's why we assume that he was cutting his hair in Yerushalayim, because it's only there that you put it beneath the pot. Because like we said in our Mishnah, if you cut it outside of Yerushalayim, then you don't put it beneath the pot.
Does he have to eat from the shlamim?
Yeah, that was the carbon of the Baal.
So he's cutting his hair. It doesn't matter. He can come back.
Yeah, exactly. Now there is a Tana that darshans in the Gemara that, like we said, that excludes this person who, because he has to bring it and he has to take the hair, bring it and place it. So he says here also that this guy is lacking bringing his hair from out of Yerushalayim to put it beneath the pot. So meaning, just like we said on Amid Aleph, we said that it can't be the guy's cutting his hair in front of the Oil Moyed, because then he would have to do not just the kicha and the sin, you would have to do the kicha hava and the sinah. Here also, if you cut it out of Yerushalayim, you would have to do the kicha hava and the sinah. Therefore, that's why we know that it's only when it's cut in Yerushalayim. But if not, so that's what the Mishnah is saying. Now, says the Mishnah, when we say this whole halacha of putting the hair beneath the pot, is b'teklachas hatara, by this hair cutting of when he was pure and he finished his nazirs. B'teklachas hatoma, which is the previous Mishnah we had, which is when you become tummy, you also have to cut off your hair also, and you start over again. Then then he wouldn't put it beneath the pot, meaning when the asham of the nazir, when he's tummy, and the chatas ha'if, there, that pot of food that he was cooking, you wouldn't put the hair there, because the pasuk makes the placing of the hair beneath the pot. It only says it by the nazir tar, not by the nazir tummy. However, he says a different opinion. He says hakol mishalchan tachas adud. He says whether you're a nazir tahar that's in the Beis Hamikdash, or whether you're a nazir tahar that's out of Yerushalayim, or whether you're a nazir tamei in the mikdash, all those cases you would put the hair beneath the pot. Chutz, from all those cases, the one exception, that tamei sheba medina milvad. Only if you're a nazir tamei and you're out of Yerushalayim, which the Gemara tells us because his hair is buried. That's how the Gemara says in the end of Tamura also. But it says it's difficult. Where do you get this halacha from that it's buried? Tzarchian. But upon them, that's the one exception where, again, we don't even know it by Nazir Tamei, but it seems like Nazir Tamei holds the same thing. And he's saying by Nazir Tar, even out of Yerushalayim, not like the Tanakama, it does apply. But Nazir Tamei, that's out of Yerushalayim, that case is the most foreign. That's going to be one that's not going to be burnt beneath the pot. That's going to be buried. Now, the Gemara quotes that the Mishnah said, Noitel Sa'areish Nizre, that he takes the hair of his head of his naziris and he goes and he puts it beneath the pot. So Tarban, we learned in a Braisa, which the Braisa says, Tarban, which is the conclusion of this teaching, that V'achkach Noitel Sa'areitiv, then he takes the gravy of the shlam, but nice not salvation is when he puts it on the hair of his naziris that he cut off. And he puts that beneath the pot of the carbon shlam that's cooking. Now, let's say you put it beneath the pot of the chatzas of asham. Oh, okay, you have to fill this obligation. Says the Gemara, asham? The nazir tar mi'ikah? Wait about asham. There's no asham by nazir tar. He says no. The nazir tame. If he's a nazir tame, if he puts it beneath that pot of the asham, he fulfilled his obligation. So whether it be like the one who says that you do it by the nazir tameh, but be that as it may, then you fulfill your obligation there too. It says where do we know this halach about the gravy? Some of Rabbi says, because the pasuk says in Bamidbar. Pasuk says that it says there in the pasuk that he should cut off the gilach hanazah pesach al mayid, the reish nizrei, and says that he takes the hair of his reish nizrei, but not on the he puts in the fire, and it says on the fire asher tachas zevach hashlam, that's beneath the carbon shlam. Now the word zevach, it could just say asher tachas hashlam. The word zevach teaches me that mizivcha yehei tachtav, from the carbon itself should be beneath it. Because to tell you that beneath the shlam you get from its own zebach. Now it says v'mshilach, and the price it says v'mshilach tachas adut shel chatas or ba'asham yatsa, fill the obligation. So says the Gemara my time. What's the reason? I thought it says shlam. So I'm correct because the pasuk says zebach, which is lo rabbah, says chatas ba'asham. Says the Gemara, what? You're taking the word zebach as a carbon to tell you any one of the carbonas to include the chatzah asham? Well, fixilize zebach merektiv. You just told me that the word zevach means to say that you have to take from the carbon and put it beneath the pot from the gravy. So how are you using the same word to teach you to include a chatas nashim? Says that's the case. It should say not mizevach hashlam. Say a better word. Say explicit. Say from the gravy the shlam. My zevach shema minal rabbis chatvash. Meaning the extra word is teaching me to take from the carbon and put it beneath, which is the gravy. But why use the word zevach? Use the word reitiv. So not only the extra word, but also the word that it uses tells me that it's coming to include chatas v'ashim. Okay, you're using the word zevach for chatas v'ashim. How do you know to include the gravy? Well, maybe it's only telling me chatas v'ashim. So if that's the case, Lema should say that you should put it beneath shlamim v'zevach. My zevach hashlam. If it's only coming to include the chatas v'ashim, say shlamim v'zevach, which is the other type of kabbanas. My zevach hashlamim. Shmamina Tarti obviously is coming to teach me both from the fact that you have the word zevach that's near the word tachas to darshan tachas hashlamim even as zevach. The beneath the shlam should be from the zevach itself. Now related to the halacha in the Mishnah, Charmal in the Brisa, regarding what we said, the different opinions, which type of hair situation did you put beneath the pot? Hakol loy mishalchan tachas adud. This Tana, the first one, like we said, Remeir in our Mishnah, says all Nazirim, with whether Tamei Tar or whatever, they would put the hair beneath the pot, like we said, except for the Nazir Tamei, when he cuts his hair, and he did it out of Yerushalayim. Reason is, as Taisa had quoted already before, Nishasad the Nikfa, the Remeir. So Remeir says his hair is burnt, which Taisa says we don't know what the source of it is, but it's buried. That's the one case, it's not going to get burnt, it's going to get buried. Bidam, he says no. Tahirim, if you're a Nazir Tahar that's finishing his Naziras, Kamakan, whether it be in the Mikdash or whether it be out of Yerushalayim, they would send the hair. Tameim, if you're a Tamei, Kamakan Loi Mashalchan. No, you never do it. It's only Nazir Tahar where the Torah says, it doesn't say when Nazir Tamei. They say, Hakol Loi Hoi Mashalchan Tachas Adud. No, nobody would put their hair beneath the pot, Chutz Min Tar Shebemikdash, except for the Nazir Tahar when he finishes Naziras in the Beis HaMikdash, not Pesach Almai, but in the temple area, Nishanasik and Mitzvah, because that was like the mitzvah that was done. Because we said it has to be in Yerushalayim, in the temple area, because then you have a Lakach V'Nasan, because if you do it anywhere else, let's say out of Yerushalayim, then you're going to have to do Balakach V'Havim V'Nas, which the Pasuk doesn't say, and therefore then it would not include that. So those are three different opinions regarding the halacha of whose hair of Naziras goes beneath the pot. That's good thing to any time.